Okay, so as I promised, a discussion of this extra credit project that will be due to me next week. I want to go ahead and give you the dynamics of it. These are the written instructions that I will attach to the email with the video and to the announcement with the video. But effectively, since the problem most of you have with the low numbers on your grades are because you either did not submit primary source papers or because you didn't use primary sources in your primary source papers. So here's what we're looking at. This is basically going to let you try to make up those papers all in one shot. And this is the way it's going to work. By tomorrow at midnight, you need to email me the topic that you want to research for your paper. It needs to be something broad enough that you can do it through the entire scope of the course because you're going to need to cover all of the four major time periods: the ancient period, the classical period, the post-classical period, excuse me, and the early modern period. I suggest something like religion or political structures or anything that we've done either a PowerPoint on, a discussion on, something that you can literally trace through the course. The way you want to look at it is this way. Whatever your grade is out of 85%, you want to try to get that number up to at least 85 or better, because anything above it's going to be extra credit that will count on the final exam, especially if you didn't do well on the final exam, right? So if you didn't do well on the midterm, the final is just like the midterm, only longer. So if you didn't do well on the midterm, anticipate that you may not do well on the final. So you want to earn extra points if you can. All right, there's an example that I give you here. If your current grade is effectively 65 out of 85, then you need to make up that extra 20 points somewhere along the way and maybe even get ahead. So when you estimate the points you want, consider that. The way I'm looking at it though is this way. For every 10 points that you want to make up, you have to give me 3 primary sources in the paper. And we'll negotiate this once you send me what your topic is and the number of points that you think you want to make. Then we will look at and agree upon how many primary sources you need. But for every 10 points, you're going to need at least 3. So if you were in need of 20 points to get to 85, if you had a current grade of 65, then you'd want to make up at least one of the papers that you missed. And if you did poorly on the other papers, you want some points for that too. So say maybe 16 points looking at the total on the papers. Then if you didn't do well on the midterm, you might want to add some points in for that. So let's say you decided you want to come to a total of 26 points to make, which would put you, if you make them all, and that's a big if you make them all, that would put you at 91, which would be great. That would put you into having at least 6 points extra credit towards towards the final. So that if you bomb the final, you're still doing okay. All right, so with that in mind, then with 26 points, you would have to use at least 8 primary sources in your paper. You would need 3 for each of the 10 points, 3 for the first 10, 3 for the second 10, which gets you to 20. And then for 6, I would want you to use at least 2 because that's over the halfway mark. So you need at least 8 primary sources. That's what this means right here. For every 10 points, you need to use at least 3 primary sources. All right. Your proposal again must be a topic that you can trace through the course, discussing each of the 4 time periods, and I've given you those time periods right here with the dates so that you'll know. And you want your primary sources to be scattered through those dates. You don't want to high end them all in one period because that's not going to get you a good grade. The idea is to do them through the history of the course. To keep from wasting my time and your time, and especially your time, I must approve your primary sources. So you have until Saturday at midnight to get me the primary sources, however many we determine you need to use. You need to have until Saturday night to get them to me. That way, if you either don't have enough of them scattered through the course, or if you accidentally pick a source that's not a primary source, we can parse that out real quick and get it taken care of. I suggest again, go to the Internet History Source Books. It covers all of those time periods. All right, the project itself then is due to me by Tuesday night. I'm going to give you till Tuesday night, April the 23rd at midnight. So here's the timeline again. Topic to me by tomorrow, with the number of points you want to attempt to get you to or above 85%. We'll negotiate that, like I said, through Friday. I will respond to you with your topic, either finesse it some or give you a little guidance on what to be looking for. Then by midnight on Saturday, you need to get me the primary sources that you plan to use, and it needs to be the number that we agree upon, and again, they need to be scattered through the timeline of the course. So on Sunday, I will try to get back to you on all those sources and make sure they're all good. Definitely by Monday I will, but I'll try by Sunday. The paper itself, again, due by midnight on Tuesday. As always, citation is required, both internally and with the works cited, and they must be correct. Don't be giving me links. If you give me a link in your works cited, it's just going to be a 0. Format is always, as it has been from the beginning of the course, author, title, date, and then the location. You must also use, as well as the primary sources, you must also use your textbook, Frankopan, Harari, and Diamond. So you want to be sure that whatever you're looking at, you can talk about something from them as well. No AI is allowed. Let me say that again. The first thing I'm going to do is open up your Turnitin score, and on the side of it, it tells me what your AI figure is. If that figure is above 0, your grade is 0. It's a waste of your time and mine. No AI. This has been stated since the beginning of the course, and I still have people handing me stuff with AI use in it. No AI. That is the school policy, it is university policy, and it is my policy. No AI. That's why some of you have the low grades you have now. If you want to get anywhere close to the full number of points that you want to get, you've also got to have that discussion of the bias of your sources, which means each source, not a big lump together thing where you say, oh, the textbooks all have this bias, oh, all of my primary sources. No, each one of your sources, each primary source and each of your secondary and tertiary sources should have an allocated paragraph discussing its bias. Okay, with that in mind, I encourage you again to email with me if you have any questions, but to begin thinking about a topic that you want to consider and trace through the history of the course for this. If you're choosing to do this, if you're happy with your grade and you're not choosing to do this, then you got a week that you don't have to worry about. But for the rest of you, if you want to make up some points, this is one of the ways to do it. Email me if you have questions. I will do what I can to help you with this in every way that I can, but you got to show me the effort, right? All right. I hopefully will be seeing some emails from you guys tomorrow, Thursday, and then again on Saturday. And then through the period, if you need help, you can also email me.